All right, we are going to do a lab called Packet Configure Radius and Packet Tracer. So this is an AI overview, but this one is actually accurate. Remote authentication dial-in user service comes way back in the day, way back, when we used to dial in directly to systems. And actually, probably when I was in high school, we had a teletype machine that had a phone that you actually sat on it and then it would dial in, and it was probably using Radius. So it is a central authority that manages access because it does authentication, authorization, and accounting. Authentication means I am who I say I am. Authorization means this is what I can get to. And accounting means how long have I connected and what have I done? It's like logging. So it's a standard that's still used today because it can talk to different systems and allow them to communicate authentications things between it. We use it here at WNCC. I could use it on my firewall. I just didn't bother to set it up because Radius can go from Active Directory, talk to my firewall. I could set it up with the wireless access point. So you'd have a username and password from Active Directory. It's a way to have one place you sign in and everything else talks to it. They could do the same thing with wireless access points, or public wireless access points. You'd have to log in with your WNCC username, but then it wouldn't really be a guest wireless network, would it? So if you typed in your username and password to authenticate to a wireless network, how does that differ from the other way of connecting to a wireless network that you use all the time? And what is that way called? And we've said the acronyms 150 times this semester. I might be exaggerating. How do you, if you don't know a certain thing, can you connect to the Wild West access point in the middle of the room? What is it you have to know?
The secret password.
Yep, the secret password. So if you have bunches and bunches of people, is it a good idea to share that secret password with 1,000 employees?
No.
No. So what they do is they use something like Radius that there is no shared key. You authenticate to that, it says, and it talks to the access point and says, okay, this guy's coming in. He's got this particular laptop with his MAC address. Go ahead and let him connect up. And that's way more secure because you're relying on your username and password, not something everybody knows. So at home, shared key makes sense. Small business, no problem. Big business, not so much. So that's what we're going to set up is Radius. And we have to get some stuff here. So you probably want to save your project. I'm not because I've already done this. So here we go. Network devices. Network devices. We have our little guy with the antenna on him. And we have like an old Netgear or something here, WRT. We've been looking at wireless access points for quite some time. And there's one part that I always say, oh, we use the PSK. We use the PSK. What's the other type that's in there? Does anybody remember? Let's take a look. Let's go into our router and see what's in there. Oh boy, that went crazy. GUI. And there we are, wireless. Wireless security. Well, this is the one we usually use at home, right? W2A personal. How do you suppose WPA2 enterprise works?
More for business.
Right, but what is the thing I've just been talking about that this would connect to? Starts with an
You don't need
R.
to have the password.
Right. Oh, I got somebody online. Sorry, I'm like freaking out here.
They don't need to have the password.
They do need their username and password, but they don't need the shared secret. And look at what's here. Radius server, Radius server. Yeah, they're used all over the place for this because it's like a common way that can connect all kinds of different devices. Cisco, my Ruckus access point, Netgear, Linksys, or whatever this is. They'll all have things like that. And that's what enterprise is about. It's also a spaceship from from Star Trek too, but we're supposed to configure something. Oh, we want to set our IP address to something. It's already 0, Is it okay if I set it to 5? For the subnet? Do I have your permission? Is there anything wrong with changing that?
No.
No. You can set any private network you want if you do have access to your router, which doesn't occur much anymore. And I don't think anybody's going to listen to me if I tell them, oh, my students need to be able to do that. Otherwise, they can't learn anything. But I don't think Charter's going to pay attention. All right, we've got our router set up. It's on a different IP address. I did that just to show you can change it. Well, you can't change it, but you could if you could get in there. We need a laptop. There's our laptop, Mr. Laptop. Now we're going to insert the wireless card. Click on laptop. We have to turn it off, which I just think is the funniest thing when you're doing printers and stuff or whatever like this. You have to turn it off first. I just think that's hysterical. We have to pull the part out and put the new part in. And then you have to turn it back on again. How fun is that? That's pretty funny. That's just me. Okay, at this point, we have no shared keys or anything, so yep, it should just automatically connect. So far, so good. No problemos. You're good, Dylan?
Oh, I'm trying to, replace, the card real quick.
Now we have it connected. We have an open system, not a good thing. Anybody can do whatever they want. Let's go ahead and hit it. Go into our router and wireless. And how we only just, yeah, we're going in here. Do we really need to go in and do WPA2 personal in class? We've done this many times. We're not going to do that. We are going to jump ahead. And we're going to start setting up our other part because we've done this before. We have to have a shared key and everybody has to have the shared key. So I'm going to skip that little part. Now to have Radius, we need a Radius server, which could be a hardware device. Quite often it's software because like Windows Server has a little piece you can plug in that's called Radius. You just install it. Linux has Radius. Everybody has Radius. So we are going to get a server, which we've never done before. End devices. Oh, there he is. There's our server. We're going to bring up a server. That was easy, wasn't it? Then we click on it. And since it's a server, what kind of IP address are we going to put?
On the 192.160.
What type of IP address? We have two different types of ways to get IP addresses. Static and
Dynamic.
Right. Do we want our servers to be dynamic? No, we want our servers to be in one place. If Google moved around every day or Amazon moved to a different place every day, you could never find it. All right, so now we need our config tab. And there's our static address. Default gate. Oh, we have to go down to here. There it is. There's our fast Ethernet 0. There's where we put in our address. And we cannot use an address that's already been used, but we can use 2. And we are on what's called a Class C subnet, meaning we have 2255.255.255.0. Well, we've got our IP address we can communicate. Now we're going to add a service. Look at all these services. We have web servers and all kinds of stuff in here. This doesn't say Radius, but remember I was talking about accounting authorization? No. Authorization. Well, anyway, there's 3 A's. Authorization and accounting. What's before? Authentication, authorization, and accounting. Because you authenticate first, you get authorized with what to do, and then you get logged as to what you're doing. So we have to have some matching settings from here to our access point. So our client name is going to be, just because I felt like it that day, probably WT router 0. because apparently I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is my guess. The IP would be the IP of our little router, wireless access point. So this guy knows it's coming in from a legitimate address. It won't accept something from a different IP address. We need a shared secret. Yeah. But the only people that share that secret is the guy that sets up the access points and the guy that runs the server, which quite often is just the same guy. So we could put in, I don't know, I did Network Plus. Now, these are our settings for our client coming in. We do add, which means from our Radius server, we could have any number of clients coming in. We're just going to have one though. And it says we want to set up a user. So we're going to do user 1. And a password of, I don't know why I did Cengage. Oh, this may have come from a Cengage book at one point. That might be why. So now we have our user, we have our router. This is the setting for the router to say, is this user 1 valid? And normally you don't put things manually into a Radius server. It's populated from like Windows Server Active Directory. But we're doing this because that's how the lab works and we don't have Active Directory in our little network. Our fully resume, and there is no save. Close it, and the configuration is in there. Now, we probably need to connect these together, don't we? So we need to go to our lightning strike, and we need a straight, there we go, straight through. Oops. Straight through. Am I grabbing the wrong one? No, copper straight through. Oh, I'm clicking it wrong. Fast Ethernet. Well, this is a Radius server, so which of these should I plug it into?
Just Ethernet 1.
Yep, any Ethernet because it's part of the local network. The internet would only be if we had a cloud service like the internet or something. Very good, Dylan. So on our laptop is the user part. On our router is the other part that allows us to communicate with the Radius server. So when we're done, this guy will enter his username and password. It'll go to the router. The router will pass that to the Radius server, and then it'll say, okay, it'll say yes or no. So let's set up our user on our laptop. And this would not be something you set into the computer. This would be like when you log on to the laptop with your username and password, that's what gets passed over. However, we can't type in the laptop, so we just set it in there. Config, nope, desktop, wireless, there we go. Oh. I'm in the wrong part. There it is, config. Wireless. WPA2 pre-shared key. Is that the right one? No. Doesn't say enterprise, but that's the right one. Usually it says enterprise. So the user ID is capital USER1, and then Cengage. So there's our person authenticating, typing in his stuff. We just have to hard code it here. Now it should reestablish. Oh, but it's not going to reestablish because I skipped the whole router setting up part, didn't I? That's not even in the directions. Is it? How do you guys get this to work?
Oh, is it?
Mine did take a little bit to reconnect to the router on
Yeah,
there.
it takes like a minute or two.
But we didn't set anything up in here.
Yeah, we don't need to. That was
Really?
one of the questions.
Oh, okay. Normally you set it up in here. Okay. But I thought, no, cancel. Oh,
That was one of the questions were like, why didn't you set up over there? Because of the radius thing.
but how does the access points know that. See? I don't have that part in there. I didn't put in the radius server or anything unless we did it someplace and I forgot where it was. Oh, I did skip it. It was set up earlier. I just jumped right by it. That was my fault. Yep. 92.168.5.2. Oh, it doesn't type like you normally do. .5.2. Yes, you have to have this information or it's not going to work. But I got out of order. There, now it'll work. Okay, yeah, that's right. Nothing happens. We just think it's saving. And you're right, it has to authenticate through and talk to everybody, and hopefully we typed everything in correctly, and then it'll connect.